Are you into the show Stranger Things? I sure am. I love that show. And I want to suggest that maybe the reason why we love that show so much is because we recognize not only the story that's our story, but I also want to suggest that we recognize the characters, that the people in the show are you and me. They're us. And that's why we connect so much with that story. I also want to use this to kind of suggest or make amends for an exercise that they try in season 2 that they don't do very well, called Lucid Dreaming. I want to give you some tips and ideas at the very end here on how to do that right. So if you're interested in finding out some even stranger things, stick around. Hi, I'm Brett, your favorite shrink, and welcome to My 5 Minds. Think of this as kind of a user's guide for your brain. See, we all have brains, right? But they didn't come with manuals. So My 5 Minds is going to be your manual to help you be more, do more, and feel better. So let's get started. And what I want to do is introduce you today to your 5 minds by using this storyline from Stranger Things. In fact, to kind of help set expectations, this is actually going to be 3 videos because there's just so much content here. In video 1 today, I want to introduce you to the cast, to not only the cast on the show, but the cast in your own head. And in that introduction, I also want to begin to help you learn how to use lucid dreaming the correct way, as opposed to the way they showed us in the show. 2, the next one, I want to show you kind of what's happening and what's not working, both what wasn't working in the show and also what's not working with us, to kind of help us understand where we're going awry. Where is it not working? And then episode 3, show 3, what I want to do is kind of give you a new solution. Now this is going to be a little bit of a twist from where the storyline went because, man, all season 9 they were building, and then at the last minute, they changed. The last minute they got it wrong. So we're going to go through on the last one, help you get it right so you can have the right answers to create the change you want. All right, now let me introduce you to our cast of characters. Let's start off with the cast of characters in your head, and then we'll move on to the cast of characters in the show. Over here I have Abby. Abby's going to help us kind of display where everything is. You may recognize Abby from Young Frankenstein, the movie. Abby Normal, as you can look at her right away, you can see that Abby is divided into 2 parts, 2 halves. Now, these 2 parts are split. They're split all the way down here to the core, which is your corpus callosum. And so these 2 are pretty well separated by this major gap in between. Now, scientists have come along and have named these, I think, very appropriately. Scientists come up with the weirdest names sometimes, but this one actually works. Scientists have named this one right and left. Is that awesome? The left neocortex and the right neocortex, or the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Now, these 2 guys do things, they look identical. I think of them as identical twins, but they do things very, very differently. The left neocortex is logic, reason, rational, science. It loves to break things down and take them apart. Where your right neocortex, it does a completely different process. It's your creative thinking. It is not logic, it's not linear, it's non-linear. It likes to see things in wholes. It likes to see things put together into a package. It also uses a different language. It likes to see, visualize, picture things, where left over here loves words and talk. Now let's go deeper inside for a minute. I've already pulled out for us this structure. This structure sits in the middle of your brain. And this is called your limbic system. This is what I would call your emotional mind. I'm going to pull up for you right now what's called a systems mind map. And a systems mind map is a visual way we can see what we're talking about. And on the systems mind map, I've already mapped out for us 3 of our brains. left and right, thinking mind, creative mind. Now we've listed out the third, which is your emotional mind. Any guesses what that does? All right, as we break it down even further and take this brain apart even more, what we see down here in the core is a very different structure once again. What we see is what's called the brain stem. And your brain stem is what I call your body mind. And the reason I call it your body mind is because that's what it does. It regulates your body. Heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, breathing. It also automates things, driving, talking, walking. All of those things are automated within your brain stem. It's your body mind. Now, as you can see, we have 4 distinct functions, but this is called my 5 minds. Where's the 5th? Well, there's a 5th mind inside of you that's distinguishable not by function or by location or by structure. It's unique because of its process, what it does. And actually, this part of your brain is located all throughout the different parts of your brain, both inside and out. This last brain is called your conscious mind. And your conscious mind basically can work in 3 different ways. It can work totally kind of disconnected in terms of you being unconscious. Sleeping is probably the most dramatic example of that. You're not dead by any means when you're sleeping, but your brain is unconscious. It is not conscious. Then there's awareness, which is kind of a mild level of consciousness. It's kind of like what animals have. I'm aware of my senses. I'm aware of my environment. I'm aware of my body. And then there's a higher level, the highest level of consciousness. And that is what I call full consciousness. And that is where I'm aware of me, where I can stand outside of me. So my cat, for example, has a thinking mind, a creative mind. My cat has emotions. My cat has brainstem for sure. But my cat isn't able to step back and go, who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of life? Is there God? What is truth? What is love? What am I thinking right now? Why am I thinking that? All of those things take consciousness. And that is a very unique and very special part. We call that your 5th mind. Now let me take all of these 5 minds and put Abby back for now. Let me take these 5 minds and help you walk through our cast of Stranger Things so we can even look at some Stranger Things. I think, as I look through the cast, what I see really obviously is that Dr. Sam Owens and Dr. Martin from the first season, clearly they're left brain thinkers. That is your left neocortex to the max. Now, as you look over the other side, on your right neocortex, who do we see over there? Well, basically most of the kids. Particularly, I would put Dustin in there because Dustin thinks creatively. Dustin uses imagination. Dustin problem solves not with logic and reason. He problem solves with his own imagination and some of the games and things he's played before. He uses those to begin to understand truth from a different way. Now, who's the emotional mind? Well, it's clearly 11. 11 hardly has any kind of higher level thinking. She's always learning, trying to develop her higher level thinking. But what she is really at her core is she is your emotional mind. You know who else is your emotional mind? The upside down. Yeah, the upside down particularly, I would call that out, is a very special part of your emotional mind. The upside down I'd call out as your amygdala, which is the fight or flight response, which is your alarm system deep within your limbic system. And the emotional mind is a very dark place, filled with lots and lots of fear. And that's very much how the amygdala operates as well. And then below that, I think of the demi-dogs, as Dustin likes to call them. The demi-dogs, what are they? Well, Dr. Owens talked about them throughout the whole second series as, hey, every organism has to protect itself. Every organism creates a way to guard against attacks or guard against enemies. The demi-dogs, that's the kind of the evolutionary step that the upside down takes to protect itself. it is the body-mind. It is the protective mechanisms that kick in. Now, I want you to begin to start thinking of yourself as these 5 minds. Oh, wait a minute. We forgot a fifth. We forgot the 5th mind. Who's the 5th mind? We've talked about the other 4 structures within your brain, but we haven't talked about the 5th. Well, the 5th mind, the conscious mind that we talked about, is you. You, as the viewer, as the watcher, as the person sitting back watching the TV, watching the screen, you are the conscious mind. You are seeing everything that's happening in a detached observer role. And that is exactly how your conscious mind operates. Now, that TV show could go on without you watching it at all. You could turn it on and walk away, and the parts will all play out. And that's the way your brain works, in the exact same way. Your parts will play out with or without you. But your conscious mind gives you an opportunity to stand back and to see the whole play. And when you stand back and see the whole play, you can begin to pick out things and begin to change things. And that's what we're going to learn. In the second episode, Bob tries to teach an exercise called Lucid Dreaming. It does not go very well, does it? No, it does not. But I want to talk a little bit about how lucid dreaming is going to work for you. And so here's your first exercise and your homework assignment to kind of get you used to yourself. For you to begin to learn, well, let me step back and help kind of describe what lucid dreaming is. Lucid dreaming is when you awake in your dream. When you become conscious while your brain is dreaming down in these deepest realms, particularly in your emotional mind. And when you can awake to a level of consciousness while you're in a dream, you can affect change in that dream. And that's what Bob was trying to teach. And you can do that. It's a thing. It's a real thing. But you got to take some steps to get there. So here's your homework assignment that's going to also help you begin to practice some lucid dreaming. Your homework assignment is this. I'm going to give you a systems mind map. And what I want you to do is I want you to take that system mind map. You'll see it down in the comment section. Click on the link and download it. And what you're going to do is you're going to fill out your dreams. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to lay in bed for a second. And I want you to think about your dream. All right? Just kind of see if replay it for a little bit. Just hold it in your mind for a minute. And then before you really get out and move around, I want you to stay in bed, grab that piece of paper and take a pen and see if you can begin to fill out the different pieces on the mind map. Don't worry about order. Don't worry about structure. Don't worry about anything. In the left neocortex, the thinking mind, I want you to write out any words or thoughts that came along in the dream. In your right neocortex, in the creative mind, I want you to write out all the pictures, all the things that you saw. Home, people, events, whatever. In the emotional mind, I want you to write down the feelings that were in the dream. Scared, anxious, confused, frustrated. And then, over in the body mind, I want you to notice any kind of physical sensations that you're feeling now, or that you're feeling as you think about the dream. Notice any kind of things that are happening within your body. Tension, stress, tightness, things like that. Also want you to note and denote any kind of actions that were taken in the dream. What were people doing? What were you doing? What were you trying to do? And write down all of the actions taking place. Now, we're not going to write much in the conscious mind because we're practicing being conscious. I want you to use your mind map and begin to map out dreams. The more you map out dreams, the more you're going to remember your dreams. Most people have trouble doing lucid dreaming because they're not even aware they're dreaming. So step 1, getting yourself conscious. Getting yourself in your conscious mind. And the way I want you to do that is with your mind map. And you're going to begin to play with the different characters in your brain. If you like this video, I want you to like this video. If you want to see the other 2 parts to this video, subscribe. And if you want to make any comments or ask any questions, do so. Put them into the comment section or even make some comments about some of your experiences as you went through your first homework assignment. All right, again, I am Brett with My 5 Minds. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.